wanted to keep it red. It could be the transition from 3 or from Revenge of the Sith to Rogue One, but we're going years later. But they said they wanted to keep it original to the point. The chest armor.
Good. No, that works. So
the chest armor and everything else like that. So, and James Earl Jones is back.
Right, yeah. So do you have any final thoughts on this movie?
Oh, I have many. Okay, so a little bit here. I love that we saw Bail Organa, Jimmy Smits. I love how we got...
I love Jimmy Smits. Yeah. So.
I love how we saw Bail Organa. I love how we saw the female president and the old man sit around the table in Yavin like A New Hope. The Vader water tank, well, I call it a water tank, was much like the tank that was used in Empire Strikes Back when Luke was knocked unconscious. The Imperial bunkers, apparently they haven't changed in the last 30 years, so they all remain the same.
Well, hey, why change what works?
Yeah, if it ain't broke, why fix it? No, I agree. I've got a bad feeling. The guard tower, a lot. I love the homages to 77, and this movie, again, completes a question that everybody had on their mind, which is, how did the plans get to Leia? How did the plans get to the Alliance? I loved everything about this movie, and I'll watch it a 5th, 6th, 7th time if need be, just not in 3 weeks in a row.
My final thoughts are pretty simple. I covered it most in the episode. I really enjoyed this. I wish I wouldn't have waited this long, but things happen. Life gets in the way. So I unfortunately had to. I wish I would have seen it in the theaters. This movie was fantastic. It's a visual masterpiece, in my opinion. And the storyline is great. It's the only... I don't think you need to see Solo. I think you need to see Rogue One. If you are a Star Wars fan, this is a movie you must see to understand the whole story.
I'm going to tag on to that. And I'm going to say, I mentioned this in another podcast that we had. I didn't need to know how Solo became Solo, but I need to know how the plans got to the Alliance.
Right, absolutely.
So,
and it doesn't just tell you how it was stolen. It tells you how it was stolen and how it got to Princess Leia.
It's an actual trilogy in 2 hours. If you look at it.
I agree.
If you look at it,
I agree.
It's a trilogy in 2 hours. What we know as trilogies within the Star Wars realm have taken 2 hours each section. It's very fast-paced, very on the money, very point-blank, with subtle undertones that you still get through as you watch the movie.
Well, I'd say our mission was a huge success there, Tribz.
Cool, Magic. So let's blow this thing and go home.
Please join us on Facebook at UFP Earth, where we will be holding polls for upcoming discussions to be hosted here on the podcast.
So, Magic, where can people find you when you're not going through a field of Imperial troopers reciting your favorite Force chant over and over to save little old me to bring me back to life?
Well, when I'm not doing that, which I absolutely would if the need arose, you can find me on Twitter at MagicDrop5. You can find me messing around on the UFP Earth page or the Disney Aficionados page on Facebook. And those are probably the best places to get a hold of me. I also do a podcast with a good friend, Amy, which is The Edge on the Trek FM network. And that's based on Star Trek Discovery. So, Tribz, where can people find you on the internet once you get that digital array set up and back down the 40-yard friggin' tunnel just to send a transmission?
Well, first you'd find me hurling chunks over side of said walkway. You can find me on Twitter at TrekFanLV, the T, the F, L, and V are capital. You can find me on the Disney Aficionado page. You can also find me on the UFP page on Facebook. Please go to iTunes and leave us a star rating and written review. That'll help others find our podcast and let you know what you want more of or want less of.
At this time, we'd like to thank our executive producers who make this all possible. They are Brandon-Shea, Ken Tripp, Zach Moore, and Tony Robinson. Thank you for making UFP a possibility.
And after you listen to this podcast, we hope you'll drop us a message and tell us how we're doing. Keep those mouse ears open for more Mickey's Marvels. And besides, who wouldn't want to be a kid again?
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.